Leah sat at the corner of a small cafe, staring blankly into a cup of cold tea. Her hands trembled as she scrolled through the photos on her phone, her thumb hovering over a single picture. Jared's smile, her eyes. The night it all began. It started with something small. She was juggling grocery bags outside her apartment when one burst open, spilling tomatoes and bread across the pavement. "Whoa, let me help you," a man said. She looked up and met warm brown eyes and a killer smile. "Thanks," she mumbled, flustered. "I'm Jared," he said, brushing a tomato off her shoulder. "You should let me make this up to you. Coffee? Dinner?" Leah laughed, heart fluttering. No one ever flirted with her this boldly. That night, her phone buzzed. "Hey, beautiful. Still thinking about you." Then the next night, "How was your day? Tell me everything." Every single day after that, without fail. Good morning texts. Check-ins during lunch. Sweet good nights that made her fall asleep smiling. "You're my peace, Leah," he'd whisper through the phone during their late-night calls. "I've never felt this with anyone before." Leah fell, fast and hard. Their first real date was at a rooftop restaurant downtown. Jared showed up with white roses, her favorite, though she'd never told him. He'd somehow remembered her mentioning them in passing. "You look incredible," he said, his eyes never leaving her face. Over dinner, he asked about her childhood, her dreams, her fears. He listened like every word mattered. When she talked about wanting to be a teacher, he smiled. Kids are lucky to have someone like you caring about them. No one had ever made her feel so seen. The second date, he took her to an art gallery. The third, a picnic in the park with homemade sandwiches and her favorite wine. Each time, he left little notes in her purse, things like, "Your laugh is my favorite sound," and "I miss your smile already." Her best friend Zara didn't buy it. "He's too smooth," Zara said one night, watching Leah reread his texts for the 100th time. "Guys like him don't just fall for girls like us." "What's that supposed to mean?" Leah snapped. "You know what I mean. He looks like he stepped out of a magazine. You said he drives a BMW and works in finance. When has a guy like that ever been genuinely interested in a kindergarten teacher from UCHE?" Leah rolled her eyes. "You're being negative. Just because he's kind doesn't mean he's fake." But even as she defended him, small things started bothering her. He never let her post him online. "I'm private about relationships," he'd say, kissing her forehead. "What we have is just for us." He always wanted to stay over only when Zara wasn't home. "I want you all to myself," he'd whisper. And whenever Leah asked to meet his friends or family, he'd get this distant look. "My family's complicated," he'd say. "I don't want to drag you into that drama yet." Yet. Always yet. Like it was coming, just not now. But she ignored it. Love made people cautious, right? He was probably just protecting what they had. 2 months in, everything felt perfect. Jared knew how she liked her coffee, remembered her work stories, and texted her good luck before every parent-teacher conference. One Friday night, he showed up unexpectedly with a bottle of her favorite wine and that soft smile that made her knees weak. "You know I love you, right?" he said, brushing her hair behind her ear. The words hit her like electricity. He loved her. This beautiful, successful man loved her. "I love you too," she whispered. He touched her gently, slowly, like she was something precious. And when she gave herself to him, her first time, she felt safe, cherished. Like this was exactly how it was supposed to happen. Afterwards, he held her close, tracing patterns on her bare shoulder. "Now we're soulmates forever," he whispered into her hair. She fell asleep feeling whole for the first time in her life. But while she slept beside him, Jared was on his phone, texting someone else, laughing in a private group chat, taking photos. The next morning changed everything. Gone was the tender man from the night before. He barely made eye contact, checking his phone constantly during breakfast. "I have a busy day," he said, not kissing her goodbye like he always did. Then, silence. Leah texted him that afternoon. Nothing. She called, straight to voicemail. "Maybe he's just overwhelmed," she told Zara, pacing their tiny apartment. "Some guys get scared after, he said he loved me. Maybe he just needs space." Zara watched her with sad eyes. Or maybe he got what he wanted. Days crawled by. Leah checked her phone obsessively. She drove past his office building twice, chickening out both times. She rehearsed voicemails she never left. Her mom called. "Sweetheart, you sound different. Are you eating?" "I'm fine, Mom. Just tired." But she wasn't fine. She was disappearing. Her students noticed she seemed distracted. Her principal asked if everything was okay at home. Then came the final blow. Saturday morning, Leah was mindlessly scrolling Instagram when she saw it, Jared's latest post. His arm around a stunning blonde in a red dress. My ride or die. Forever. Hashtag grateful heart. The phone slipped from her hands. Leah couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The room spun as she realized this girl wasn't new. The way they looked at each other, the casual intimacy, they'd been together long before Leah ever existed. She'd been the other woman without even knowing it. The heartbreak was physical. She couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Her mother drove 3 hours from Abuja and found her daughter hadn't left bed in 2 days. Baby, what happened? But Leah couldn't explain. How do you tell your mother you gave your virginity to a man who never existed? Instead of going home with her mom, Leah put on makeup, marched into Jared's office building, and demanded to see him. He came downstairs 15 minutes later, laughing with a colleague. When he saw her, his face shifted, annoyed, like she was a pest. Wow, you really pulled a whole crazy ex move, huh? What is wrong with you? She snapped, her voice echoing in the marble lobby. You said you loved me. He smirked, glancing at his coworker who was pretending not to listen. Leah, come on, you were fun, that's all. Fun. 2 months of her life, her first time, her heart, her trust. Fun. Security asked her to leave. She didn't argue. She'd never felt so small. But the worst part hadn't even come yet. A week later, Zara stormed into the living room, phone shaking in her hand. Her face was ghost white. Leah, you need to see this. Right now. It was a screen recording from someone anonymous. A girl who recognized Leah from the office incident and felt sick about what she'd discovered. A private WhatsApp group called the Body Count Boys. Jared was in it, along with 4 other men, all bragging about women they'd conquered. Rating them. Sharing details. But the photos, God, the photos. Intimate pictures of Leah, sleeping, vulnerable, taken without her knowing while she trusted him completely. Then Jared's voice note played, told you I could get her in under a month. Virgin too. Easy money, boys. The other men laughed. One said, think she'll try to contact you again? Blocked her everywhere. She was getting clingy. Leah didn't scream. She didn't cry. Something inside her just shattered. She spent that night throwing up. The next morning, she could barely stand. Zara held her hair back and made the decision for both of them. We're going to the police. Today. The police station was intimidating, but Detective John was kind. She explained that while the photos were a violation, prosecution would be difficult. But she took the report seriously, documented everything. I've seen this before, she said gently. These men count on your shame keeping you quiet. Meanwhile, Zara had screenshotted everything and sent it anonymously to Jared's company HR department with a detailed letter about their employees' conduct. Within 48 hours, Jared was suspended pending investigation. Within a week, he was terminated. But that was just the beginning. Detective John called 3 days later. We've had 6 more women come forward with similar stories about Jared and his friends. The DA wants to press charges for harassment, distribution of intimate images without consent, and conspiracy. The blonde from Instagram, Sarah, contacted Leah directly. Turns out, she'd been with Jared for 2 years. She had no idea about the other women until someone sent her the leaked chat screenshots. He told me he was working late all those nights, Sarah sobbed over coffee. I want to help you destroy him. Sarah had access to Jared's laptop. What they found was a gold mine of evidence. Hundreds of photos of different women, detailed strategies for manipulation, even a spreadsheet tracking his conquests with ratings and notes. But Leah was still broken. She took leave from work. Spent weeks in therapy learning words like manipulation and emotional abuse. Her therapist, Dr. Kim, helped her understand the calculated nature of what happened. He love-bombed you, Dr. Kim explained. The excessive attention, gifts, affection, it was designed to make you dependent on his validation. Then he withdrew it to control you. But why me? Because you're kind. Trusting. Those aren't weaknesses, Leah. He weaponized your strengths. Slowly, with Zara's encouragement, Leah started sharing her story online. First on Twitter, then TikTok. She created Not Just Fun, a hashtag for women to share experiences with manipulation and emotional abuse. Her story exploded. But more importantly, so did the legal case. 12 women had now come forward. The evidence was overwhelming. Jared's Body Count Boys group was exposed as a predatory network that had been operating for 3 years. The trial made local news. Jared, once so confident and smooth, looked broken in his orange jumpsuit. His expensive lawyer couldn't save him from the mountain of evidence. The photos, the spreadsheet, testimony from over a dozen victims. The defendant engaged in a calculated pattern of emotional manipulation and sexual exploitation, the prosecutor announced. He treated women like trophies to be collected and humiliated. Jared got 18 months in prison. His friends got similar sentences. The judge ordered them to pay restitution to all victims and register as sex offenders. But the real payback came from the internet. Someone had doxed Jared completely. His mugshot went viral with the caption, "This is what a predator looks like." His LinkedIn, dating profiles, everything was screenshot and shared thousands of times. He'd never work in finance again. Background checks would follow him forever. Sarah texted Leah after the sentencing. His mom called me crying, said he's getting death threats and had to move back in with them. Good. Thousands of women messaged Leah. Some shared eerily similar experiences. Some said her story saved them from going back to men like Jared. One message stood out. "Your story made me realize I'm in this situation right now. Thank you for giving me the courage to leave." That night, Leah cried, but for the first time in months, they were good tears. Her mother drove down the next weekend. "I was so scared I'd lose you," she whispered, holding Leah tight. "You didn't," Leah said, "but I had to lose myself to find my voice." 1 year later, Leah stood on stage at a women's empowerment event, microphone in hand. The audience was packed, women of all ages looking up at her with recognition and hope. She looked confident, calm, whole. "I used to think the sex destroyed me," she said softly, "but it wasn't that. It was the betrayal, the silence, the shame." She paused, looking around the room. "But I decided to speak, and now I'm free." The applause was thunderous. Afterwards, young women approached her, sharing their own stories, thanking her for her courage. As she left the venue, Leah's phone buzzed. A message from Sarah. "Guess who just got arrested again? Jared violated his parole by trying to contact 3 of his victims online. Back to prison he goes." Leah smiled. Not the cruel smile of revenge, but the peaceful smile of justice served. She screenshot Sarah's message and saved it in a folder titled Closure, then put her phone away. Some wounds heal. Some scars become strength, and some predators finally face the consequences they've been running from their entire lives, and some stories, when shared, become salvation for others. Don't confuse attention with love. Real love respects boundaries, protects your dignity, and never weaponizes your vulnerability. If someone breaks you, it's not your shame. It's their sickness. Speak up. Your story can save someone else. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true stories that'll leave you speechless.